Hey, how's it going, guys? So, this movie is titled There Is No Cloud in Cloud Computing. So, I've been wanting to make this video for a while because I'm just so sick of the cloud, everything. We got to go to the cloud. The cloud is so awesome. It's so great. Like, let's just give let's just, fragment our business. Let's just freaking give these cloud providers all of our data and everything. And so, yeah, I know I'm probably being a little apocalyptic or a little hyperbolic in this, but I don't think so. I think this is just kind of like the cloud services that we have out there today are kind of like a honeypot. A honeypot is where it. There's a few different meanings to a honeypot, but the idea is that you're a bear. You want honey. You stick your hand in a pot, but you close your fist or to grab the honey out, and you can't get your fist out. You're stuck. It's been used before in like computer security terms, like you would set up like a server, a honeypot server, to attract hackers, and they would try to get into this server, but it would be totally like firewalled off and kind of like not connected to anything important, and they would waste their time basically on the honeypot server. So I mean, I think the cloud is so many of these cloud services are kind of fall into that, in the sense that they do provide you with value. I mean, that's why so many people use them, but in a way it can be it it's not all pie in the sky, right? It's not all it's cracked up to be, I think. So I mean, what is the cloud, right? Like the cloud is it's some it's this is a great image. There is no cloud. It's just someone else's computer. Meaning, oh yeah, it's all well and good until that cloud service is great. Oh, until it goes to shit and like there's an outage for 6 hours, and you're like, oh, our whole business relies on this cloud service and it's down. Well, yeah, we've been on the phone with them and they're working on it. They assure us that it's going to be up soon. Yeah, you're fucked. You know. So it's basically a cloud system, or cloud computing is basically a system of hardware and software designed, software designed to be able to scale uh, massively in relatively short amount of time, right? We there's also different types of cloud services. Um, there's the consumer type of cloud where Facebook, Gmail, Yahoo, YouTube is a platform for video hosting. It's a cloud service. Um, they also have business components, like you can get Gmail for free, but if you're a business, you can also get Google Apps for your business, which gives you, I guess, more functionality in some ways. It's also more of a pain in the ass in some ways too, which I'll get into. So this is kind of like me complaining, I know, about the cloud, but I think well, bear with me. There's a lot of benefits, but bear with me on like what I'm laying out here, I guess. Uh, let's look at. So this is a good image here on cloud computing off the Wikipedia page. It kind of describes what it really is. Like all the way down at the infrastructure is the actual hardware level of stuff, the block storage, the compute nodes, the actual computers that run the cloud, that run cloud services on top of them. Um, and then the platform, object storage, these load balancing, caching, scaling, all these are all designed to be like highly available and redundant, and can weather the failures of individual like computer racks or nodes in the system, and also weather like on the big providers. I mean, they can hopefully weather a data center outage, but of course, in years past, there has been outages like Amazon Web Services, like where one of their data centers goes down, and then oh, you didn't pay for the whatever multi data center replication, whatever ultra enterprise gold service. So yeah, all your services are down because that data center's down. Oopsie, sorry about that. Well, oh, well, we're losing money. Well, that's, yeah, well, sorry. Yeah, we don't really care. I mean, this is the other thing that people don't realize. Like, you know, the cloud providers, like the big ones, are obviously businesses that are in the business to make money. So how are they making money? They provide you a service. So you you give them money, so they have their income, and then they have a incentive to reduce costs of what they're providing you. So so to increase their profits. So you know, it's like they have their own agenda. You know, they have their own agenda of what they're trying to, how they're going to increase their profits, right? And one of those is that they'll get you to get hooked into a cloud service, and then, oh, this is free. It's like a fucking crack dealer in some ways. Like, oh yeah, make use of this cloud service. It's free. It's free. Oh yeah, it's free for now. And then, oh, 2 years later, after you fucking have all your eggs in their basket, or at least some critical eggs in their basket, then they're like, oh, well, we're going to start charging for this service now. Yeah, but, sorry, you know, pay as you go, pay, you know, and so many of these services now that are operating off of the internet, off of these websites, they want to have the service model, right, where you just keep paying, like Office 365. You pay a monthly fee. You have Google, you have iCloud storage, or whatever. You pay a monthly fee, and these prices are never going to go down. They will never go down, dude. That's, you know. This is, I think this Microsoft Azure Office, the Office 365 thing, on-premise and cloud products. Oh, we're raising prices, you know, due to rising, you know, infrastructure costs, and well, we're going to provide you with better service, right? Like more reliability. It's going to get better. Don't worry. We'll have less outages that, you know, basically just cost you money. We're making it better, so we have to increase prices. Oh, and we're gonna, you know, that's gonna increase our profits a little bit too. Like, we got to make money, right? So the prices will never go down. That's what people don't factor into the cost. Like, some freaking slick salesman comes into the business and like, oh yeah, this is the cloud. Oh yeah, it's only this much per year and this much per support. You know, this is the initial cost, and then the initial support. And then you as a manager, like, you bring this into your business, and it's like, oh yeah, this is great. It's saved us money. Like, well, yeah, it saved you money on the spreadsheet, like on the freaking P&L. But then what is the cost to your employees that then they now have to interface with the cloud provider to do everything, right? It creates so much of these cloud systems, they are closed platforms. They create a walled garden that you then have to go through them. They become the bridge troll, and you have to, as long as you keep paying, you get access to the support portal and all the API documentation to use these cloud services and stuff like that. But you have to go through them, and you have to keep paying, and you'll keep paying. You'll never pay less. Trust me there. They'll just change the terms of agreement, terms of TOS, the terms of service. Like, oh yeah, well, yeah, you're really using this one service a lot, but you're kind of using it too much. Well, we told you it was unlimited. Well, it's not really unlimited. We have to start charging you for this now. Yeah, sorry. Where are you gonna go? That's the other thing. Like once you start using all these or bringing all these cloud services into your infrastructure, into your core business by outsourcing your core business to utilize cloud services, you're basically inviting the vampire into your house. They will continue to suck your blood, basically. Um, and then the other thing too is like you you're using a cloud service as to augment your business functionality, right? Well, you're sending your customer traffic. Let's say you have a website, you then partner up with some cloud service provider, and you're like, oh well, we're going to include this little bit of JavaScript on our web page, and it's going to give us this feature X or feature Y, and somehow add value that I understand, like, oh well, we don't have the time or the ability. You as a manager are unable to figure out how to do this in house. So you're like, oh, let me hit the easy button and just pay someone else to do it for me. Hey, look at me. I'm great. Yeah. You just freaking have weakened your business by relying on these outside cloud providers and outside cloud services. I mean, I understand it's difficult. Like, it's not an easy solution, and I understand the appeal, but it's the easy button in my opinion, and it actually harms the long term viability of your operation. And okay, so you include this little snippet of JavaScript on your website and it provides this feature, blah, blah, blah. Now, that cloud service provider has access to every customer that accesses your web page. What's that JavaScript doing? Oh, well, I don't know. I don't really know what it's doing. Like, it's sending some information to them. There's some cookies that they store. What are they gleaning from that? How are they using that information? So yeah, and then also, oh yeah, you use a cloud service, like you use Gmail, using YouTube. Luckily, there's alternatives like BitChute and Minds.com, and there's Steemit, and there's these other alternatives that are popping up, at least like consumer based, and hopefully they'll have some sort of business component that is more based on an open source platform. Oh, and these cloud providers are using open source. They're using software that is not that's free and open, so that they don't have to pay licensing to another provider, right? Like, you think Amazon or Google, they're paying. Well, in some cases they are. Like, I read an article where Amazon was trying to get off of the Oracle, and trying to. They had like some 5-year plan or something to get off of Oracle because it was so embedded in their financials. But like all these, the actual cloud Amazon Web Services and stuff, that tech is all built on open source technology. They're using open source because it just makes business sense, right? Then they basically are adding value, providing you this easy to use platform that you can consume, and then they make money off of that. So I got a few different articles up here. Let's see. Like, there's a ton of these different cloud services popping up. I mean, so it's interesting. Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service is like the most popular. Like Facebook, that's a platform. YouTube is a platform. Gmail. Storage as a service, that's like Amazon S3, Glacier, or whatever, like these object storage services that you can use to offload your storage needs onto the cloud provider. And why are it does make sense in a lot of ways to use certain cloud systems. I think. You already paying for internet service. I understand that. There's a lot of you may not have the ability to spin up a team or contract out to get these things built, but it's a catch-22. It's you got to be careful. That's what I'm trying to. I'm kind of being. I'm exaggerating and being a little hyperbolic here, I know, but you got to be careful. These cloud services aren't all they're cracked up to be. You're giving up your core data to them for the convenience. I mean, and that's part of the that is part of the whole thing with the convenience too, is like you can access it from anywhere, right? Like Facebook, right? As an example, I can look at it on my laptop, and then I can sit on the toilet and browse it on my tablet or my phone, and it's the exact same. Nothing's changed. The same information is up there. I'm getting updates. Things are I can access it anywhere, from any device, from any location, at any time. That's very convenient. Yeah, I get that. In the old days, it was much more difficult to keep things synchronized and everything like that. But we've given up a lot. Like Facebook is tracking everything, and these other cloud providers are tracking. You don't even know what they're tracking. How could you? It's a closed system. I mean, you don't have access to to the platform you're using. They own it, right? So Facebook has gotten into a lot of heat lately because there was the hearings on Congress, and more stories come out about how Facebook tracks you, right? Like tracks everything that you're doing, and they basically, Facebook creates like a profile of your demographic data, and then sells that to third parties, allows third parties to come in and then sell to you through their Facebook platform, right? This was a good one. So yeah, the whole like, oh yeah, you need to be secure, right? Like, I don't know where my phone is, but yeah, oh yeah, you must use a two-factor authentication. We'll send you a text, over to your phone number to validate, who you are, to make sure your Facebook account is secure. And then they basically, I think they sold the phone numbers, like, oh, oopsie. Was that your two-factor authentication phone number that we gave to a third party? Oh, sorry about that. Oopsie. It's hilarious. Like, freaking the salesmen and the marketers ruin everything. I now I get freaking more robocalls on my phone, and I don't even use Facebook. I've had to use two-factor authentication for a while. So who knows where my phone number got leaked, And then these cloud providers become very juicy targets for hackers, because it's like, oh, why would I go after small mom and pop one-off, like maybe like no, I'll go spear phishing. Spear phishing is where they target a phishing attack against like a high up someone high up in a large company, like a Facebook or a Google or an Amazon. They try to target that individual, and then if they can get their credentials, then that can open up all kinds of things that they can get access to in that company. And that's probably how a lot of these attacks happen. Social engineering. Um, yeah. Oh yeah, and then this is it. Yeah, you don't own the freaking data. That's the thing. Like all these cloud providers, it's like, oh yeah, just log into the site and then save your work, whatever you're working on. You're using this cloud provider to provide some sort of functionality, Office 365, Google Docs, or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, just save your. Oh, it's up on the cloud for you to access all the time. It's like, oh yeah, Apple can delete purchase movies without telling you. And I mean, the same is happening. This is the thing. It's like, unless you have physical copies of your shit, you don't own it. What's going to happen? Like, oh, iCloud or oh, yeah, you have, 20 years of photos in iCloud and, you've maxed out and videos and you maxed out your storage. And, well, you don't want to lose pictures of your Timmy when he was a baby. Do you? No, keep paying us, or else you lose access to all your freaking life because you've outsourced your life to all these online services. And the same has been happening. The same has happened too. I think I don't have an article, but with two more rentals on us. Here, have a cookie. I'm tired of you, kid. Go away. Here, have a cookie. Bye. Two more rentals. Yeah. Amazon, I think the same thing has happened with like the Kindle, with the ebooks, where they can just freaking grab it out of your library and delete it, and you don't even know about it. Like, I bought that. Where did that go? Oh, sorry. Yeah, you don't own that anymore. There was a case with Bruce Willis had some massive iTunes library, I guess, that he wanted to pass on, like literally will it to his child or something. It was like, I forget, something like 80 gigabytes or something. This massive, you know, obviously he spent probably tens of thousands of dollars, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, but no, you don't own it anymore. You know, it's like, oh no, you can't do that. And people are like, oh, well, you're just exaggerating. Here's one prediction with Apple. Like, they got rid of the jack, the headphone jack, right? So you got to have wireless Bluetooth headphones, right? What's going to happen? No, the DRM, they'll lock that in where, you want to play that song? Yeah, you'll hear a message like, oh, sorry, that song is not licensed. We have not, you have not purchased that song from the mothership. You cannot play it. Meaning, yeah, you don't have the rights to play that song because, well, we don't know where you got that. That's not allowed. Oh, you're being paranoid. Yeah, right. There's a couple great subreddits. Stallman was right. Richard Stallman, who's a open source evangelical, I guess, but he's been in the one of the founders of the open source movement, and the Stallman was right subreddit is great because there's all kinds of these articles posted all the time about how your privacy is you're not your privacy is being impeded upon, where they just are taking your data. They tell you, oh no, we would never do that with your data, and then they do that with your data, and it's off to sold off and packaged off, and then yeah. Another one is de-Google, which is a good. Even though I know I'm using a cloud platform, I understand the irony, right? I get it, but there are benefits to this technology, but we just gotta be careful. That's why I know I'm being a little over the top in this video. That's fine. I'm trying to get a point across. Yeah, privacy. This article, there was a creepy tracking feature. Um, yeah, I mean they want to lock you down into the phones because into using the phones. Like they're getting more and more into where like, well, this feature is only available on the phone interface. Like this app, I don't use Instagram, but oh, Instagram, I don't think you can use it on a desktop. So many apps you can't use. Why not? Well, they want to track you. They want to have all this personal data that is on your phone, your contacts, all this. It's the new. It's just a way they're basically taking the cue from Facebook, where it's like, oh well, we can just hook into all this data that's on a person's phone, and we've got all their demographic, where they're going, where they're traveling. Yeah, limit data gathering and update. Always collect location data or never collect it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we need. God, there's all kinds of cases of this stuff. What was this one? Oh, more with privacy. Oh yeah, Why do they want to try to stop a privacy law from being passed? They contributed. What is this? Yeah, yada yada yada. This is so fucking. Microsoft believes privacy is a fundamental human right. Oh, of course. Well, that's what we believe. Parts of the language. We believe that, but we need to make money. So, sorry. God, freaking. Um. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was a great one too. And now like the voice. God, these Amazon Echo devices. This is much more on the personal space, but everyone wants to like businesses are clamoring to get like a smart app on your smart speaker. Look at the freaking language. Your smart speaker? No, this is a freaking listening device. Everything gets sent up to the Amazon cloud, and then everyone's like, "Well, so what? What are you worried about?" You guys don't. I'm not worried. I'm just saying that we're basically training. We're training our replacements. Everything that happens now behind a screen or a phone, like you're in a call center and you're answering phone calls or making sales calls, you're done. You're over. Amazon is collecting all the voice information it needs to train the machine learning algorithms to replace us, so that pretty soon you'll get phone calls on your phone, and you won't be able to tell that it's not a human. I mean, why? Because we're training the machine learning algorithms to replicate human speech in an extremely accurate way, because they're collecting all the information, and then it's listening all the time. I mean, yeah, you want to talk about Big Brother? The government doesn't need to have any to spy on. The government doesn't need to spy on people, because all they have to do is say, "Oh, Amazon, yeah, give us all that information. Open that up to us." Yeah, Google, open all of that. Facebook, we all need to be in your data center, and let's have the keys. Like you put, and you think that those companies are going to resist the government or the DOD or somebody from letting them in? No, come on. They're look at the latest with Google and the controversy with creating the search engine for China, right? Or working with the Chinese authorities on creating that search engine, right? So yeah, like creating our replacements, like same with Amazon Echo, like, like Google bought this company reCAPTCHA, like, and the original thing was like, oh, we're gonna oh yeah, we're gonna scan books, and we're gonna like, oh, we're gonna increase the library of knowledge by scanning these books into these ancient, really public domain books into electronic format, and it's gonna be great. And yeah, now we're training the visual systems for the automated the robots and drones and the self-driving vehicles that are going to replace us. Uh, yeah. All right. Yeah, I know. I know. Okay. So what can you do? What can you do about all this stuff? This is a great site, privacytools .io. This site has all kinds of tips and softwares and um, privacy-minded cloud service providers, right? Like VPN. Definitely, I use a VPN all the time. Um, Not because I'm like doing anything weird. It's just because no, you don't need to know where I'm going. It's none of your freaking business, right? Um, Browsers. Let's see. They also have like different plugins you can install for privacy. Email providers that you can use that are privacy conscious and are out of the United States so that they can't, be subject to like certain warrant requests or something. This one's super popular, Proton Mail. You can access it through an Onion link, which uses the Tor browser. Um, so, and a lot of people are like, well, why are you using a Tor browser if, you must be doing something wrong? And it's like, no, what if you live in freaking Iran or Syria or China, and you're trying to circumvent, like, you can literally be picked up for wrong speak. You say the wrong thing, knock, 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 come with us. Yeah, that's why. Oh, well, we don't have to worry about that here in the US as long as you don't do anything wrong, right? As long as you're not committing a crime. The problem with that is who judges what the crime is, right? Like there's more and more censorship occurring. There's more and more people being banned for what? For supposed hate speech. And it's very arbitrary. Like there was a recent case with Alex Jones getting banned, right? He got banned, like it was a freaking hit job. He got banned on all kinds of platforms all at the same time. And regardless of what you think about him and agree or disagree, as far as I could tell, he didn't break any laws. Why is he getting banned? Oh, these big tech companies, they didn't like him. Possibly the elections coming up, and what he was saying was, not what we agree, or not what the narrative that we want to show people, right? Like we're so freaking smart that we need to show people what we need to help correct the thinking of the Americans out there that don't, they're just misguided, right? Using search engines that are privacy minded, so that your results are not filtered or curated by some sort of algorithm to show you like what Google thinks you should see. You know, basically like shadow bans what they think, like, oh well, you shouldn't be seeing that. Using encrypted messenger services so that they can't be like listened in on. Yeah, your text messages are normal text messages are completely wide open. And again, you're like, well, you're not doing anything wrong, and yeah, I understand, and you're probably right. Like some of this may be over the top, but it's better to be aware of this stuff because if things do get worse, it's going to be harder for you to jump ship later. It's better to be aware of these things. Some other things you can do, like for your private data, like for your photos, your create what you create, like your creative works, your videos, your family photos, your family videos and stuff. Store them locally. You can. I don't get any sponsorship, but there's devices by Synology and QNAP where you can like basically buy a couple of hard drives, build out. It's a embedded device, like a breadbox device that acts as your own local file server and web server. And they also have features where you can, like, say, double your storage. Like hard drives are pretty cheap now, like the amount of storage you can buy. And you can then back up, sync that with another physical device like that your friend has at their house, and then reverse. They can sync it to your storage, so you have offsite backup. So in case there was a robbery or, God forbid, a fire, you would have a backup, at least a physical backup where that stuff is stored, right? You can on the privacytools.io site, they have like storage cloud providers that like provide storage in similar way to like Google Drive or something, but they're privacy minded and they're like offshore, so that hopefully they're like less prone to censorship. That's not really, well, that can be an issue because there have been people who have their Google accounts banned too. Like, like you have one Google account, you have a Gmail, and then you stored a bunch of stuff in Google Drive because you had however many gigabytes free, right? And you stored a ton of stuff up there, and then if they cancel your Google account, you can't get to that stuff. It's done. You're done unless you had some local backup somewhere. So anyway, other things you can do as a business. This was an interview. I'm going to close on this because this was a good interview with Bill Ottman of Minds.com, and he talks about, as a company, like what they did, right? Like, and this is a big issue, is like so many companies are looking for this easy button and they want to get to market fast and deliver this or enhance their offering by bringing in these cloud services. But man, you got to watch out for this stuff. It all depends. I understand you're a small company of 5 people, and you're a startup, and you have 3 developers or 3 software engineers, right? You don't have the ability to spin up your own servers and your own infrastructure. You're going to go to the Amazon Web Services or Google Compute or Microsoft Azure and use these services. I get that, but just be careful, like, on how you create these services. Build them using open source tools and build them in a way that you can move to another cloud provider rapidly, or don't lock into these cloud providers, in the sense that now there was an old phrase. I think this was way back in the 2000s with Microsoft, embrace, extend, extinguish, where many of these cloud providers are like, oh, we're open source, we're embracing open source, and then they extend it, meaning like you need a database, and so you spin it up on the Microsoft on the Amazon Web Services, or you spin up a web server or some sort of other software on the Amazon Web Services, and then they're like, oh, well, this is the open source version and it has all the same functionality. Oh, but we've extended it, we made it better. Now, use this use these methods and this API and this functionality, and oh, it's just makes everything so much better for you, right? So you embrace that, and then you get locked into that vendor. You get locked into that, and then they extinguish, meaning like that. Then they like, oh no, we don't provide that open source anymore. Like, no, you have to use our APIs and libraries. And then the other thing too, like people, oh, I'm being paranoid. I'm being like apocalyptic or something, or Big Brother. No, I'm crazy. Maybe, but look at Amazon. Look at Amazon. How many thousands and thousands of businesses run their services on their web services on Amazon Web Services, Amazon Cloud. Now, Amazon is a huge company. Amazon, oh, their company, they have to make more money. Their shareholders, always more profit, always more profit. It's never enough. So Amazon's like, well, we got to grow. We got to grow. What business, where should we expand? What business should we go into next? What market should we go into next? Oh, I don't know. Why don't we freaking analyze all the traffic of all the businesses that run on our platform and see who's doing well? Let's see what markets are growing, who's making money, and we'll go into that market next. It's it's fucking brilliant if you think about it. Businesses are giving Amazon all the rope that Amazon is going to use to hang them with, basically. And you could say, oh, well, no, that won't happen. Okay. All right, well, we'll see. We'll see in a few years, like who the next business is, or who Amazon buys out, or what markets how they expand. They bought Whole Foods. Like, yeah, you think that's any no, they know exactly what they're doing with self-driving cars coming, delivery of everything. Yeah. Anyway, let's listen to Bill Ottman and see. And this is an interview with Owen Benjamin. Owen Benjamin's a great comedian. I highly recommend you support him or watch his stuff because he's been targeted and censored and banned off of Twitter for wrong speak, and yet, like Louis Farrakhan can call Jews termites, and oh, that's fine, but anyone else, it's like, oh my God, how dare you say anything? Anyway, all right.
I mean, that's exactly the rabbit hole that I went down. It's like you start seeing these sort of tech overlords who you're suddenly victim to because you're using their software. So I got obsessed with free and open source software, which is essentially anyone can take it. You can build your own. You can build your own infrastructure. You're not reliant on these third parties. We still are reliant on a few, which we're slowly trying to extract. But we're totally open source now, and that's it. We're not using any code that is controlled by somebody else. Our servers are on Amazon still, which isn't that much of a problem yet because, I mean, they even gave us a startup grant, which was weird they didn't get any ownership or anything. They just, saw our traffic and they're like, okay, we think you guys are doing a good job. But that shows that there's probably layers within Amazon that doesn't really understand what's going on. If they got a takedown notice from somewhere, we could be at risk, like similarly to what happened to Gab, and we would have to swap cloud providers. But then you're getting into like building a peer-to-peer infrastructure that cannot be censored. So like, for instance, our videos are hosted with WebTorrent, so it's peer-to-peer. So actually, if those WebTorrent links get out there, the video can't even get taken down. And that's getting into people's browsers, actually helping with the processing of the network, so we're not subject to the whims of some centralized system. So it's crazy that there was such a market opening for this, and it's happening. And they're banning people like you, and it's just causing more people to seek out the alternatives.
Yeah, seek out the alternatives. try to, if you're a business and you're creating software in any way, build it with open source, make it robust, understand the risks of relying on a cloud provider or a cloud service. If you're just a average Joe who just doesn't work in IT, and try to look for ways that you can get local copies, make sure your stuff is backed up. Like, yeah, okay, use the cloud, Google or Google search on how can I back up my iCloud onto a local device? How can I make sure that my data is saved locally some way, somehow? Have offsite backups. Have a hard drive that external hard drive that you have backups on. Mirror that have two that are mirrored. Back up one or back up both, then take it to the office, and then bring one back. Do a weekly backup. Take one to the office, so you have something at the office or off-site that, in case of a disaster, theft, fire, whatever disaster of a physical device. It's not easy, but it's like, also, what is your data worth, right? Like, maybe you don't care. Like, okay, I don't care about the baby pictures of Timmy. That's fine. Maybe he'll care when he's older that you don't have any, but whatever. We'll worry about that later. Yeah. So anyway, I know this is kind of a rant video, but I'm so tired of how everyone thinks these cloud services that everyone thinks are just so wonderful and it's just going to solve so many problems. If you're a business, and you use a lot of cloud services, ask your staff, your team members, what do they think? How much time are they spending managing the interfacing with the cloud provider, right? And these cloud providers, how much integration do you have to do and work to integrate it with your other systems? Ask them. It's not just some easy button, right? You're fragmenting your business. You're giving control of core business functionality to outside companies. Think about that. Anyway, so hope you enjoyed my rant. Like, subscribe, share on the social media cloud platform of your choice. All right. Thanks. Take care.